You're listening to Hackers IRL. We're the people the news pretends are a single character. We are not. We pop shells, walk our dogs, fight with our printers, and somehow ship the work. This show is voicemails. Brain dumps from our side of the wire about whatever's on our minds. The line stays open. Up next, Hero of Time, also known as Cameron. Here's their story.
Well, this is a hero of time, otherwise known as Cameron, 6'8". Don't play ball. I just first off want to say thank you, Panda, for creating the Hackers IRL. I think it's such a cool project. And I figured I'd use it in the way that made the most sense to me right away, which is capturing that in-between space for me, which is always most prominent during travel, during the comings and goings of cons, assessments, work life, home life. And right now I find myself sitting in a hotel, the exhaustion from the HackspaceCon in full swing, and just a swirl of emotions that I think a lot like how you kind of described this project. They're not polished. It's not a finished product for consumption like you get a lot on like LinkedIn or something, as far as like how a con went. Usually, a lot of us, either for business or PR reasons, we write up a real polished view of how things went and the awesomeness of the cons. And there's certainly a lot of that, but I don't think it's too well captured the, just the unpolished moments, like the silence, the sadness when you leave behind friends, and it's not going to last. There's always an end, to everything. And, but those same friends now are friends, and I can reach out, I can call, reach out on Discord. I can choose to make those connections, continue to be real. And I can choose to use new things like this, project here to, give myself a healthy place to go, because I know for myself, and I talked about it with many who have asked. I spent so much of my life in addiction and in just loneliness. Even when I began to have friends, it's hard to escape that place that kind of just draws you to. I guess it's almost just a selfishness, self-centeredness, really. And, I don't know that I would have described it that way growing up, but I think of it that way because I've found that the best way to get out of it is to act, to go find somebody to do something for. So that's kind of, I guess, where I'm mentally at this space. Is my mind is flooded with exhaustion, needing to sleep in the hotel that I just got to. Have one more week of work to do before I get to head home to my family. So I'm quite literally in that in-between space, between the joy and fun of a con and hanging out with friends new and old, the upcoming work that needs to be done, and the sleep that I need to catch up on, and the ability to just let go and not try to hang hang on to one more moment of what is now past, but also not try to spend too much time trying to prepare for what I can't control tomorrow. So I think normally, if there wasn't this thing called Hackers IRL now, this would just be a passing thought of mine before I finally crash in my bed and pick up a new day. But I think it's cool that we can now choose to share that kind of stuff. At least for myself, I often think that I am vulnerable by design. That's why I named my site the same, vulnerable by design, as just a place to, much like the machines. I no longer think being vulnerable or having vulnerabilities is a bad thing. And I don't need to chase my life trying to fix them all. Much like machines, we sometimes learn the most from vulnerable machines, because they give us a place to better understand those vulnerabilities. So if me as a 15-year cyber experienced, blah, 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 titled person can talk through the gray space and the in-between spaces that my mind goes through. And if that can impact another person, to just let them know it's okay and that you're not alone in feeling that, then I think that's just super cool. And I for one, can tell you that I hope to hear more from others talking through just the normal, the things that you guys go through in your day-to-day. I so appreciate everybody that I got to talk to at this con. There's not enough words for me to describe my thankfulness. And, so thank you. And thank you again, Panda. Awesome con. Signing out.
Thanks for listening to Hackers IRL. Background music is Simplicity by Macroform. If you've got a story of your own, a breach, a leak, a close call, or just something on your mind, join us. Call 904-915-HACK. That's 904-915-4225. Up to 10 minutes. Choose to preserve your OPSEC, and we distort your voice before anyone hears it. End of transmission.